Today is August 20th, and your New York Yankees have their longest losing streak since 1995. Let's talk Yanks, babe. Joe's is here. What? Doing nothing is crazy.
Recaps galore, weekly awards, stat lines, steaming hot takes.
No need to play the sad song anymore.
Are you sad?
I think you get sad when you expect the opposite.
Hello and welcome to Talkin' Yanks. Myself, Joe's McFly and BBD here today producing his buns off. John Boy had some family stuff going on. I know it was Katie's birthday weekend. She
Happy
went
birthday,
away
Katie.
a little bit. Now she's back, so we'll let them enjoy each other. You know, maybe
Baby number 3.
And this episode is brought to you by SeatGeek. They're our presenting sponsor. They have been all year. Go to a baseball game. Maybe, go to Philly. Oh, they mash. They mash. Go to a concert. Go see a show. Because SeatGeek has 70,000 events every single day. So you don't have to watch a baseball game. You can watch something else.
Other sports are starting up.
Football's around the corner. College football this weekend. Use code YANKS. You'll get $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek. Download it. It's so easy. A Jake can use it. Promo code YANKS. Click the link in the description. Joe's McFly. I'm excited to be joined by you today, as always.
I'm happy to be here.
But, we're in an interesting state of talking Yanks. We've never been here.
It's a weird state of mind.
2017, it's the come up kids, including John Boy Media and Talking Yanks, but the baby bombers. 18, 19, 2020 was a bit of an odd year.
Yeah.
21, 22. Last year we were saying it felt like 98 for a little bit. One of the hottest starts in Yankees history. And here we are getting swept by the Red Sox. I think we dropped 4 games under 500. The Red Sox have owned us this year. The Yankees' playoff hopes are done.
Swept sounds a little nice.
They've lost 8 in a row, first time since 95, before BBD was born. This is the most losing team in David's lifetime. How are you doing?
I don't know. I'm like in between a pissed off or like kind of. I understand this team is not going anywhere. The problem is how they're losing is my issue. And it's crazy. You mentioned 98 last year and those vibes. And I'm like, man, I lived through 98. But it's like, I don't know. There's still something a little off. And I'm reading the 98 book, and it just reminded me that team last year was not 98.
No.
Yankees find ways to lose. I feel like throughout a year, the reason that there's a regular season, there's a postseason, right? The postseason is where the best teams go. And,
Sure. I'm familiar.
I just feel like the regular season is where you build the character of what your team is. And the Yankees are a team that literally, they, especially after the deadline, they take losses out of wins, and, it's just they find ways to lose. They don't come back.
Do we have the official number on that stat, BBD? The 1 for 56 when they're down going into the 8th?
I can definitely find what the number was the other day, and they haven't gotten a win.
That doesn't feel like New York Yankees or what we've been told to be as New York Yankees fans. It's just sad, man. Joe's, I'm normally not this guy. When Greg Allen's ball hit the wall, I told you instantly it was over.
Yeah.
Because when you're a losing team, or you're losing, or if you don't believe in yourself and there's no confidence, and they shouldn't have confidence. They've given themselves no reason to have confidence. The same feeling I had when that Greg Allen ball hit the wall, everyone in that dugout had.
It's like, oh.
Wait, we were 6 inches away from a tie game, and the Bronx is bumping, and we got to Kenley, and hey, let's enjoy this for a minute. That ball hits the top of the wall and comes back, and everyone in that dugout was pretty sure what was going to happen. And then it happened, man.
You know, the same way that the team feels like, an error happens by the other team, and it's like, oh, here we go again.
Right.
We're coming back on them. And the other team feels that too. It's like, man, these guys just come back. It's the same way that a team that just gets – Red Sox ragdolled you, Pop, in Yankee Stadium, and that's crazy. But I think when you do nothing at the deadline, and I was telling BBD before this, I'm not going to disrespect Middleton because he's doing a good job, right?
Nice dude.
That transaction, no problems.
Yeah, no problems. But the fact that, the energy from the team has completely shifted to, man, not only did we not get any help because they truly don't believe in us, even though in the media they'll say something else. You can tell the whole energy from the team is not the same. I mean, Garrett Cole out here saying that's insane. Garrett Cole's on a 70-win Pirate team and said, I've never felt this before.
It's a bad sign.
Oh.
It's a bad sign. Yeah, man, I don't know. There is some fun stuff in this series. I'll let you boys help me out a little bit. I'm back on my wedding season grind. A little bachelor party this weekend. Your guy Jack. We're out in Sugarloaf.
Jack Doyle.
No. No.
Jack Sorensen.
Strobel. We had a nice time. I went floating down a river. We went to a casino for a little bit. It was nice to enjoy. We told old stories about when we were young, some old Yankees teams.
I love old stories.
But I was checking in, and the first two games were wrapped up pretty early. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh, I seen.
So let's get into the games. I'm sure as we go, I love picking your ear on topics. And Joe's, I had another, I don't want to say sad moment, but I feel like you and I haven't talked Yankees baseball in 3 weeks. Like probably since the deadline.
Actual baseball.
Exciting Yankee baseball.
When we had conversations, a lot of time, we have a lot of other conversations too, which are nice. I feel like you and me have not had a Yankees conversation basically since the trade deadline, and that's crazy. That's what we like to do. We like that so much it's turned into our jobs.
It has. Thankfully.
And we haven't talked Yankees baseball in 3 weeks. So
it's a weird vibe. It's a weird feeling. Honestly, it really is. I just, you look at the team like this and, especially when you're covering it as a job side of it.
Right.
I really do give a lot of credit to people that do this year after year and they still stick with it, seriously. Like if you're doing the Pirates and they're upset or, to keep continuing with that, I give you a lot of credit. Because I think this is a good learning experience, not only for the Yanks, but for us too. At least that's how I'm taking it.
Hey, let's do it. Let's get into the games. We might be a little high and tight on the games because there's also I think we're probably going to stumble into some prospect conversations. Our guy Brian Hoke tweeting out about an Austin Wells homer that had Pereira and Peraza on base. And it was interesting. I thought it was interesting that he put all those details in the tweet. Because, normally he wouldn't even report that kind of thing. But he thought he should report it.
Yeah, gee, I wonder why. Maybe because he should be doing that in the major league level. Like, let's try that out.
You know what's kind of major league? The farmer's dog. The farmer's dog, it's good to have them back because, A, they're Noodle's favorite partner we work with. Easily. He's a 1-1.
Reason, right?
1-1. Noodle also gambles a little bit. He's a DraftKings guy, but he loves the farmer's dog. He makes crazy parlays. I'll send them to you. But the farmer's dog, you know why he likes it, Joes?
Why is that?
He eats it.
Well, that's important.
And it's delicious. The farmer's dog will deliver it right to your door. Fresh, healthy dog food. It also sends food in pre-portioned specifically for your dog. There's a lot of different dogs. Name 5 different breeds of dogs right now.
All right. A beagle, pit bull, bulldog, terrier, Doberman.
Okay. That's like easy 5. You think all those dogs should
Shetland
eat the
sheepdog.
You think all those dogs should eat the exact same diet?
Impossible.
That's impossible. That just ain't right. So farmer's dog gets the right food for your dog, whether they're a young pup or an old pup like me. Go get your dog some farmer's dog. And how's 50% off? Bang! thefarmersdog.com/JohnBoy. You'll get 50% off your first box of fresh, healthy food and free shipping. Click the link in the description. I know we've had a bunch of our friends that have dogs have signed up for it, and they were like kind of excited because they were like, ooh.
Have you ate this?
I've had a little bit of farmer's dog. They don't recommend that, but
It's not for you.
it's not for me. It's for Noodle. We're different dogs.
Don't take his food away.
Thank you, farmer's dog. Hey, if you got a dog, give him a shot. Give him a shot. Your dog just might like it. All right, I got a burn for the first game. Second games I kind of gave up, just like the Yanks. Let's do it. The rivalry is back. I used to get straight B's. They used to call me Buzz. Burrito Bayo in the Bronx. Top 1, a Masataka mistake, and it's over. You liked 4 in the first. How about 3 in the second? It's 7-0 Red Sox, and the Yankees offense is, how do you say in French? A poo-poo. Yanks lose 8-3 final.
I play a game with me ever since. I play this game
Okay.
every day as I watch the Yankee
I'm
game. I
interested.
try to see how fast does it take me to either turn off the game or mute the TV. This one was muted quick. We were out of there quick.
Why do you think that is?
Devers hates the Yankees, and I think that
You kind of started that.
no, I think his ability did.
You're kind of directly correlated.
I have no that wasn't my fault at all.
He's
103
pretty
for
good.
Chapman. He's really good, and I believe he had like 8 or 9 hits in this series alone against the Yanks.
He loves hitting against
He-
the Yankees.
Loves it.
He's okay. So I was getting in my feels about this a little bit, and we're already getting off the game rails a little bit because what mattered in this game, anyways. Devers he's going to be a historically great baseball player. You know, he's very
Yes.
young. He's incredibly good. So like
Dominican.
I don't want to put this as like a Yankees. Why didn't you get Devers? Like franchises get players like Devers once every 25 years. If
And they
you
should
get a
keep
player
him.
like that.
They should keep him.
Yeah, but in a way, he represents everything like anti-Yankee. He plays the game with such fun. Like he plays the game kind of like beautifully out of control. Like he takes those big swings. And the other thing, he's improved. He's worked on himself. He's gotten better at third base. He made a couple diving snags in this game.
He's a lefty.
And he's a lefty.
Yeah, it's like a lot of very.
That he
Anti-Yankee.
hits his homer today in the second deck on that curveball from Clarke, and you're like, God, that's pretty. Anyways, I don't know, man. Like, what do you want to cover in this game? Burrito gets popped, 2.16 earned runs.
I would say I had a rant after this game. It wasn't necessarily a rant, and I posted it on YouTube, but I had like a conversation. I guess you could call it a rant because I was upset.
Right.
During the game, as the game was happening, I was just upset about whether it's front office, and we heard the Ben Ruder news earlier in the week,
right,
and just a lot of different things, and I'm just looking at it as like, what's going on,
right?
And I just feel like there needs to be that owner separation, and I got into a whole conversation about how George actually kept people on their toes, and there was a lot of like, there's a lot of disconnection. It felt like from ownership to the fan base. Like George would write a letter every year to the Yankee fans apologizing when they would get eliminated in the ALCSs and the ALDSs or like not doing well. I remember because Mike and the Mad Dog used to read that. And it just feels like there's a disconnection, and there's like this carte blanche and this job security that's for everyone and for everyone. And, that picture where the Yankee front office looks like a swamp, like, that Congress swamp is not a good look. I want the Yankees to not only care about hey, the regular season. There was this disrespect to the regular season almost, it felt like, Jake, like in past years.
There is.
And now everything's come to a head where it's kind of like, okay, well, now we got to make some changes. And we hope for changes, but there's really got to be a change in philosophy. There's got to be a change in mindset. And I went off about that, and I just it just feels, and we don't want to sit here and just beat down the Yanks.
That's the last thing we genuinely want to do.
I literally want to cheer for the Yanks. That's like what I want to do.
That's your favorite thing.
That's my favorite thing to do. And we just haven't been able to.
Yeah.
So enjoy your summer, though, guys.
I mean, BBD, any thoughts on this game? I mean, Judge homers late. We'll always root for that.
Yeah, I mean, good to see Judge do stuff. DJ got 2 hits.
Ian Hamilton has a very nice outing.
Ian Hamilton, very nice outing. Really unfortunate for Johnny Brito to get just straight up tagged in this one. Like, it was nice to be able to just say, get those 2 Minnesota games out, and most of this year's been pretty good for him. And this one's a blemish, but
Gleyber loses the ball in the transition. I've seen that.
Yeah.
I've seen that an odd amount, right?
The focus needs to come back. Like, people need to be on their toes for stuff. Like,
I've got a good one today.
Bro, Don Mattingly used to tell Derek Jeter, let's jog off the field because you never know who's looking. And he's talking about the owner. He's not talking about anybody else. Everybody was on their toes. And it just feels like everybody's lax and comfortable. Yeah. It's like, I need the Yanks to, you know what? Maybe this year you're not going to make the playoffs. But let's play with some pride, and let's play like the pinstripes mean something, which they do. And, I want the Yankees to be crab-like for the rest of the year. What do I mean, Jake? I want them to be crab-like.
What do you mean by crab-like?
When you put crabs in a bucket, what do? They try to drag down the other ones. So you know what? Why don't the Yanks play that spoiler role? Maybe that can bring some kind of fire. You're not going to the playoffs. And it's crazy to say a $280 million payroll team has to play spoiler. But you know what? Maybe you can learn. You can learn from that too. Hey, I don't want to be here next year like that.
It's interesting because going into this weekend, I was wondering about that. Like, because it's still Yankees Red Sox. Like, would have been nice if the Yankees played with some fight, took 2 out of 3, or imagine if the Yankees swept and it was like, hey, screw you guys.
Come down here with us.
Yeah, you're coming. Let's go. See you in hell. But no, man, and that energy was never there. And the reason is it's the same guys. It's why I love You're Doing Nothing is Crazy rant, Joes. Because you either needed to get MLB players a month ago, you didn't. And because you didn't, it's why Brian Hoke is tweeting about Austin Wells and Everson Pereira and Oswald Peraza. Like, why? I know the result you're going to get with the current players. I know the result. Everyone knows the result. We've seen the result. So
When was the deadline?
August 2nd.
first, second.
First, second. Might have been the first.
Like
It was
nothing's
Tuesday.
been done from there. Like nothing happened at the
They've
deadline.
rolled out
First.
same operation.
Listen to the radio, guys. Listen to the radio. Listen to John and Susan. Because they do enlighten me and they look at things a certain way that maybe you don't see on TV. But I heard John and Susan talking. And they were talking about like bringing up kids. And she said, oh, I guess they don't want to do that because then they don't want to like wave the white flag on the season. And John says, well, they got to start winning games. And he said, you know what? Let me do math. And he pulled out
Oh, man.
He pulled out his standings. He says, I'm going to look at
boxes.
losses.
Right.
The Yankees are 8 games out in the loss column. And then he started looking at, let's look at all the teams that are on top of them. They're out of here. Like he's basically he's like the Angels, the Red Sox, and the way that it's looking today, it's not looking promising. And they're like, they came in here a bunch of games ahead. Yankees are 9 games out now as we speak here today.
It's over.
So what are we, like, what is this, like, waving white flag stuff? Like,
If they actually, I get being on a sports team and fighting to the very end. You know, even
yes.
however you get that fix in your life, whether it's, maybe you play video games and like, hey, you're down 31-7 in Madden, but you keep throwing the ball and you hope you kick some onside kicks. Like, I get being on a
Can you
sports
scare 'em?
I get being on a sports team.
Yeah.
You play to the end. Like that's the spirit of sports. But if they are trying to win, which they've continued to push, and it's gotten to the level. I think Boone's most recent quote is miracle, because I think they have to go 30-9 to get to 90 wins. 30-9, which this team has shown nothing close to that. In fact, I think that's why Michael K. loved bringing up the old harmonica story on today's broadcast. You might have missed this, Joes. He told the story when Yogi Berra was manager. There's a dude that was playing a harmonica in the back of the bus.
Oh, I think I remember hearing that
And
story.
Yogi said, hey, can we cut that out back there? And the harmonica guy didn't hear him because he was playing the harmonica. So he asked Mickey Mantle. He's like, what'd Yogi say? And Mickey told him, play it louder.
Phil Linz was playing the harmonica.
Just a classic joke. And there was a little bit of a scene in the back of the Yankees bus, apparently, because Yogi went back there. The harmonica got thrown. But that Yankees team went on a crazy win streak after that. They went like 30-12. So I think that's why Kay really wanted to bring that up. If this team wants to believe in a crazy miracle win streak, that means anything has to change. That means anything needs to be different.
And everything.
Like, the kids, maybe they're not good, or they'd call them up and they'd be bad. But that's what we're seeing anyways. And hey, what if they were good?
If they were,
Whoa!
I think the Yankees are a little afraid of them being good. If they're good,
They make themselves an option for next season.
well, yes, but not because of that. If they're good and we've suffered through all this, and everybody's like, you haven't brought these kids up and they're doing this, it's a weird. I've been looking at the schedule because the Yankees still thinking, hey,
Looking at
we
the
we
schedule.
gotta run in them. So the reason I'm looking at the schedule is I'm trying to circle date on the schedule that the Yankees are gonna totally pivot and say, started looking toward next year.
How are the Yankees viewing the calendar?
Where they'll look at it and they'll say, hey, this wasn't our year. Like, where on the calendar?
Okay, interesting. This is a fun conversation.
Where
This
on
is
the,
a good John Boy combo.
when do you think it is?
So,
I'm seeing the schedule and there's only one date for me, but
September 3rd?
September 3rd, after they just lost the series to the Astros.
In Houston. I don't
Maybe
know.
they're off
Come home.
I guess in my head, I thought there was a chance today's the final straw. Longest losing streak in, since 1995.
Yeah.
in what was supposed to be if you want to be a part of this season, you need to go on like a win streak. You went on a losing streak. And it's the Red Sox, right? Like there's something symbolic about that. Remember when the Yankees lost to the Mets and they instantly traded for Benintendi? Mm-hmm. Like I do think the Sox or the Mets can twist the knife a little more. That I don't know, I guess call me a dreamer, but like today's in theory a chance for that. Like
Friday, I know, was one of those like dates where like after that, like guys won't lose rookie eligibility for next year, so that's why there's been some extra call-ups by other teams.
I can't hear about rookie eligibility when
What are we
that's
talking
not
about
no.
here?
I know you're not. I know you're not.
Yes.
But
That's why you're seeing it from other teams. So
we
Yankees, you can get on the train.
Talked about that a lot last year, and now I'm.
That's my least
Where's
favorite
Peraza
conversation, being in New York.
Where's Peraza been? I do think there is a chance. I don't believe in it, but I think there's a chance that they could be like, all right, we gotta call up at least one of the
Yeah,
kids.
we can't keep doing this.
Day off, let him taste the gnats.
Otherwise, you're right. I mean, it's that Houston because they play the Nats at home, and then it's a Tampa, Detroit, Houston road trip. That the way this is trending, where we could potentially be by that Sunday Houston game. Holy cow! And yeah, we got the chat popping right now. Thanks everyone that's in there.
Love the chat.
I saw someone said, I think it might have been our guy Tom Ace. He said the Yankees have more of a shot to go 9-30 than 30-9. And yeah, like if you had to place a bet on one, it's not even close.
9-30 is the smaller return of the two. Important to just so everyone knows, the harmonic incident has its own Wikipedia page, and I like that.
Okay.
Oh wow.
Okay.
I put it in the chat if you're on.
What about who are the pitchers who wife swap Fritz Peterson and
Ooh,
Wife swap is crazy. That's close.
Fritz Peterson and Mike Kekich.
that was the day I
73.
knew we were friends, Joe's, when you asked to do that with Jess.
What?
Nothing I say should be important to anyone.
There are two more games in this series. I didn't burn them, man. I didn't have the fucking heart. I really didn't, dude.
You tried. I watched you try.
I had it up in front of me all game, and I just couldn't put words on the email where I write them because I'm a weird cat.
I don't understand why. There's a notepad app that he has, and he doesn't use it. He puts it in an email.
Well, you want to know the original? We had a dream, and there's still a dream of this one day of doing a burn book at the end of the season that becomes like kind of a collector thing that you can relive the season. So I'd type them up, and then I'd email them to Sam after.
Does Sam read them all, you think?
I think Sam reads
She's
them.
read them.
You know Sam reads them.
Yeah, she reads them all.
So game 2, we got a Cole day. Garrett Cole, ace of the Yankees.
Season on the line, too? That's crazy.
Luis Urias, Red Sox deadline acquisition that I did break. Credit.
Good job.
Whoops. He turns on one from Cole. Grand slam. 4 runs. Top 2.
Game's over.
The game is... Man, that might be the toughest part.
That
might be the toughest part,
I feel so
man.
bad for people that do go to Yankee Stadium. And I'm not going to give any shit to anybody that does go to the stadium. Because you want to go there. You obviously want to see the Yankees win.
Right.
Nobody wants to go to the stadium to see them lose unless you're like a Red Sox fan, you know. But
Do you know what you honestly want when you go to a game? You want hope.
yes.
Like, you want, even if they lost, like, dude, that walk to the subway and being like, oh, that rally in the 7th, like, you know, that ball gets down the line and they could have had it tonight.
That convo.
There's no hope. They've trailed, what was the stat? They've been trailing the most innings in the MLB this season.
In the second half.
In the second half.
I wouldn't. Would I be surprised if it's over the full
Second
year?
half. Makes me feel a little better because I
Yeah,
was like, holy
since the
shit.
break.
For the whole year would be crazy. There's a lot of bad teams.
Man, The late inning stuff. Okay, what's worse? Here's a fun game. What's worse? The fact that this Yankees team, if they go down 4-0 early, there's no hope because the offense just doesn't have that.
Okay.
Is that worse than the fact that even if it's close late, we don't believe in them? Which one is worse?
I think the close late.
Just that there's like... Because that's any baseball team should have that. You
They
said
haven't stolen a win.
You said
this
that
year.
when we were sitting on the couch. You were like, even bad teams come back and win.
I've got a bad
Everybody
relationship.
steals a couple wins every year.
I've got a bad relationship with I'm trying to beat the traffic crew, right? They have been looking like geniuses. They've made out like foxes this year.
They're up big this year.
They're up catastrophic. Meanwhile, I never leave the game, right? Like I stay. I've been at double headers where the Yankees have lost by double digits in both. And I've stayed there all 9 innings, and that's not something I'm proud of. But those beat the traffic people this year, boy.
They're having a big year.
They're having a big year.
Early pride of the Yankees, the beat the traffic.
I mean, they beat the
They've
traffic.
killed it. They've had a huge year.
They've really killed it.
They've had a huge
Not
year.
only one day was a moment of regret.
Listening to that radio, kind of hoping the Yankees don't come back because you're in the car.
With no traffic. You won, Bob.
Driving past Makeham's Dam Bridge or whatever it is. Just like, oh, God, I really hope he doesn't hit a walk-off.
Guys, nothing's worse after a loss, a bad loss, which they all are. When you're in traffic, dealing with it.
Sitting that for a while.
Jonathan Loaisiga pitches another clean inning.
I love him.
He's been great since he's come back. Judge
Good for
hits
him.
another
And
homer.
he looks nasty.
Yeah, you mentioned that Devers guy. Wong hit a 2-run Oppo shot to make it 6-0. So, yeah, I mean, felt like the game was over before it started. The Yankees had 2 hits in this game. 1 error.
Stayed ahead.
Those are the prerequisites. Low amount of hits, an error or 2 in there, a goof and a gaff, and that's the Yankees 2023, baby. Let's go.
It's
And
been a
beat the
week.
traffic.
It's been a week of legitimately, like, can they out-hit their own mistakes?
They're racing errors.
They've raced errors for a week.
What was
Today
it
it was a race for a little bit. It was 2-1 pretty late in this game.
pregame show this week? Last game against the Braves. What was it that I said that I wanted? Well, what to watch for? My what to watch for was, can we play a clean 9-inning game? Like just clean, wire to wire. I'm not even saying win.
Right.
Just a clean game. And it was too much to ask for as well.
Well, and that brings us to today. And
Today was a classic sweep.
it's a prime game, which every Yankee fan does a little head tilt. We humans don't like breaking their routines. So, okay, hop over there. Hey, and the Yankees' keys to the game. You know, Paul O'Neill talking at the start of the game, little loopy.
Yeah.
Little Michael, little, hey, how are you? You know, one of his keys to the
Couple
games
of tell you what's from Paulie.
was he was like, hey, you can't let Devers beat you. That's one of the 3 keys. Like, you know, you can't let Devers get you. And when he hit as majestic and beautiful as a lefty homer is supposed to look at Yankee Stadium, a hanging curveball, just leaned into it. Hope wasn't gone because that was expected.
Of course.
And then Clarke did settle in. Clarke looked pretty good today. He had some good stuff. He gets a little bad luck in that 6th inning. Higgy hits a homer. I always love when Higgy runs into one.
Love a Higgy
That was a
homer.
fun inning because everyone had the same swing. It was Volpe,
Volpe flies
Higgy,
out.
and then DJ. Volpe and DJ didn't have the power to get it out. Higgy did, which I thought that was interesting. Paulio was going into a rant. He's like, hey, one day Volpe will be stronger and those will go.
Did
did.
Judge do it to that inning? I think it was.
I think he
all
turned
4.
on a little more,
it
but
was
yeah.
pulled more, but another fly to center.
So it's a tie game. Red Sox put a little rally together in the sixth, that is also highlighted by a Volpe throwing error because Gleyber kind of gives him a bad toss. I think that's fair to say. It was in a between spot where you could tell Gleyber was thinking, am I too far to toss it, or do I need to kind of whip it? And he went for the toss. Volpe airmails it, run scores.
Volpe's been good this year, so he gets a pass, and because of that is why I'll blame the toss.
It has his worst defensive moment since been a long time.
He's been solid.
He was, and
unfortunate.
he's trying to make a play. Like
Right.
he's trying to rush a double play. I'm not going to come at the arm or anything. Like, he's trying to make a play, and sometimes that's how errors happen. Like, that's baseball
that's
a
it.
little bit. Gleyber hits the answering homer. It's 2-2, and then in the seventh, they walk the bad man. Why would you pitch to Devers, who was 3 for 3 on the day at that point? It's the right move. You've got Mike King out there. The Red Sox bunted. I think that's important for something that we didn't talk about game 2 that we'll talk about in a little bit. So they walk Devers, Justin Turner, right on right, Mike King. First pitch, tries to throw the sweeper, just stays up. It doesn't sweep enough. Justin Turner, pretty swing, barrel. 3-run homer, okay. Good vibes at the stadium. This is probably it, right? Schreiber comes in for the Sox. Starts to get squeezed by the ump. What's part of the story of this game? The ump strike zone changed after the 6th inning, which was kind of bizarre.
I think he got bored. He just said,
wanted
yo,
to spice it up a little bit.
Swap it up.
Bader infield single, McKinney 4-pitch walk, and then Volpe homers. Pretty swing.
That was nice.
That's the swing. That's what I tweeted out. That's the one, man. That kind of line drive the other way, that's going to treat you real good.
Just do that,
That's
pal.
going to treat you real good, kid.
Right field will treat you way better than left field.
They get a little rally. So it's tied at 5s. They get some more action on the bases. Stanton flies out to end it. Clay Holmes comes in.
Stanton.
No.
Okay.
No. They get Devers. Devers is up 2 men on. It's like, I've seen this story before. I know it's coming. Nice play by IKF. They didn't look to turn the double play, and I want to talk about Yankees defense in a minute. It was a nice play by IKF, and I don't know if they turned the double play, but Gleyber didn't even try. He kind of looked the runner back at third. So I don't know if he was thinking about the runner scoring. I'm interested in that play. I'm more mad that Rortvedt, before that happened, Reyes single and then stole first pitch. Rortvedt without a throw, like the defensive specialist, that it's the 9th inning. I know Clay doesn't do you a ton of favors, but if you're Ben Rortvedt, like, that's your trick. That's your party trick. Like, even if the runner's going to beat you, like, you should be coming into the game like, watch this. This is what I do. I'm going to get this guy at second. I'm going to throw the best throw you've ever seen and get the runner and get the out and change the momentum of the game. He didn't even come out of his squat. Like, I don't
Didn't
know.
even,
That just
threat
felt
to
wrong. That just felt wrong. It doesn't.
Did we ever get like a slow-mo on it, or like a show, like, did you get like the best jump ever? And
It was a jump. Like
maybe there was no shot. I never saw the wide shot.
they gave us one angle of it, and it wasn't. How
You
about
can make
this?
the throw.
It didn't make me give the audible reaction of like, oh, that's a. Oh,
Sometimes you see that
he
you're
got
like,
that
oh,
jump.
I think Pudge had a quote saying, "I always make the throw."
It's Pudge.
He makes the
Runner can come off the bag. Like,
There's a lot of stuff.
so yeah, those combined in the same inning, and those two things just doesn't feel like other teams do that. You know? Anyways, Greg Allen comes up.
Oh, you forgot about the replay, right?
And the replay. Okay, so we've got 2 IKF topics. Let's go on to the second half of the show.
Okay.
And I think we'll cover it in some pride and awards because we've got 2 IKF moments between the replay and the bunt that we haven't talked about. And you're wearing the IKF shirt from our store that is one of our best shirts. It's one of our best
It's a nice
shirts.
color. What's the color you call this?
Like, IKF would look sick in that shirt.
But he also would be like, why are you wearing
It's a little tasty to wear your own shirt. I think Bader's done it. Don't blame him.
Yeah, that's why Clarke wears the Bader
Right.
shirt so much.
You like to hype your teammates. Go get yourself a shirt at our store. But also, manscape your downstairs.
Salmon is not a color.
There's a...
It's a fish.
I manscape. I tell the people about it. I've got a unique pattern down there. Something to do with airplanes. Take care of your downstairs. Whether it's for you, whether it's for someone else, you'll feel good about it. You know? And the leaders in manscaping and below-the-waist grooming, they now have a Beard Hedger Pro kit. They're going a step further with the brand new Handyman. Like that a lot. An electric face shaver for a quick and convenient way to achieve a clean shaven look. Whether you're looking to sharpen up your neckline or give your face that smooth finish, the Handyman has you covered. And with code Yanks at manscaped.com, you get 20% off and free shipping with the code Yanks at manscaped.com. 20% off and free shipping. Click the link in the description.
Hey, Jake, how about if the Yankees don't make the playoffs, how about if we shave Jimmy with Manscaped from head to toe?
Head to toe if the
Head to
Yankees
toe.
don't make the playoffs.
If the Yankees
You
don't
think
make
he'll
the
agree to
playoffs.
that?
Of course.
I got a little naked this weekend,
A little.
and thank God I was manscaped.
Oh. I was wondering, like, you don't
It was
have,
able to
like,
be a
hair
fun
on your
conversation
arms.
for the fellas.
I got some arm hair, but it's not.
Here, like, you're just...
I finally got a tan this summer. It was my first time going outside these past 2 weekends, and my arm hair is now like the same color of my skin. So that was a little Talking Jake hair update.
Manscaped.
Hair update. On our store, that color, Joe's, is called watermelon.
It's what?
Watermelon.
Watermelon? Okay.
I just
Also
read
not,
this. I just
not
read
technically
the store,
a
man.
color.
I am not calling. I am never referencing this as a watermelon color.
Joe's, it's Sunday.
Well, watermelon's green.
The outside of
outside.
watermelon's mostly green.
When you first see it,
Stereotypically green. There is a
The
sea foam.
inside, though, traditionally a color similar to that.
Right,
Actually,
but-
usually you wanted a brighter red than that, no?
yeah, I don't...
So it's like a deeper red, ideally.
I'd say salmon.
Stop salmon.
Flow blue is one of the colors that comes in.
I think I go first.
Heathen season.
Pride of the Yankees.
Man, there's a couple ways you could go, huh?
Yes.
You know what? I'm going to take an interesting angle on it. I'm going to go Clarke Schmidt.
Yes.
This was a big start for him because he had just gotten rocked. Like, Clarke Schmidt had put together a really good season. He faced his hometown Atlanta Braves, 50 people in the crowd, got rocked. That's tough, man. That's a lot of different emotions. I thought it was interesting. Paul was talking about it, and our guy Justin Shackle was talking about it, that he said how did he phrase it? He was like, I learn a lot when I play against really good teams. He's like, that's when I learn the most. Because then you know, the Yankees talk a lot about pitches and, you know, the shape of pitches. And,
Yes.
you know, we've seen a lot of pitchers try a cutter and then, you know, use it or come back to it. And when should I use it? Where should it be located? That kind of thing. I think what Clarke Schmidt was describing, you know, pitch sequencing, that used to be talked about on the broadcast so much, right? Like when they were talking about a veteran pitcher, and they'd always say the line like, some of these old pitchers, they talk about the game differently.
Yeah.
Like we couldn't even hold a conversation with them. You know, we'd say this, run that two-seamer in and bang a slider away, right? And they're like, oh, they see the game at a totally different level. The way Clarke described it made it sound like he was a young pitcher learning the tricks of the trades and pitch sequencing and things like that outside of the realm of, and maybe I'm digging too deep into the Yankees analytical stuff because they're an easy target right now.
Very.
But it felt like Clarke Schmidt was learning from pitching, and that's traditionally what has worked in the past when you're a young ball player. And hey, like I said, Devers pops him in the first, and that's got to be one of those, come on, really? And he settles in. He has a nice day. He even punched out 8 guys on a good Red Sox lineup.
I give him a lot of credit, all the credit in the world for his ability to come back. This year when we went to go see him, and Baltimore trip feels like so long ago. But for what we seen there, right, and then what he is now, and where he couldn't even get lefties out.
Right.
Then now he's like actually legit upset that he gave up a homer to Devers, who's killed the Yankees. Then that's actually, I gotta always give him some flowers for that, man, because he came a long way, and that's why I think John said on the radio broadcast as I was driving in, he was saying, I don't think I'm worried too much about Clarke. I think he knows how to, how to rebound. I think he's learned that this year, and there is something to kids learning their lumps at a big league level. We've seen that with Volpe.
Think so?
We've seen it with Volpe. I think you learn through experience as well.
I don't know.
I wish, but the analytics doesn't see that.
I closing the Clarke loop a little bit. I think we all did like a little eyebrow shrug. I think there was some stuff early on in Yankees camp that it was like Clarke Schmidt's the most confident guy in the clubhouse. And you're like, what? Like, I don't know, like Big G, I bet he can walk pretty tall.
Yeah.
Like, Stanton, Judgy, like, Garrett Cole, a lot of confident guys.
There's different flavors of what confidence could mean.
Right.
So we're interested.
We kind of all tilted our heads like, oh, Clarke, huh? Like he's that guy. And I think you kind of saw a little bit of that today, and that's one of those things, that's why it can be important to be an athlete and have that confidence that if Clarke came in and was facing the Red Sox like, ooh, I've had a nice season, I hope the wheels don't fall off, and then Devers clips him, then all the dark thoughts come in. Clarke Schmidt came out and was like, I'm going to shut down the Sox today.
Yes.
And he more or less did.
I like him.
More or less did.
It's good pride.
Do you have a pride of the Yankees?
I do. I'm going to go with Volpe. I think.
Okay.
I talked earlier about the pinstripes meaning things. And I talked about, playing with pride. I talked about being like a crab in a bucket, kind of, because I think the Yankees should probably embody that a little bit.
I think I missed that part.
But I think that he would learn. Maybe he's not going to the playoffs this year, but I think that he would learn something if the team would attack the rest of the schedule, as if like, yo, you know what? We're going to play our best brand of ball. We're going to try to play our best day today. We're going to try to go 1-0 today. And I feel like I get a lot of that energy from him. Whether it's how much he's calmed down on defense, whether I would love to see him walk a lot more, which, if anything, it makes me more excited for what the finished product of what Volpe's going to be, because I don't think we're there yet.
No.
He's starting to get comfortable. He's starting to feel like I could hit up here a lot, and when he hit that 3-run homer today, boy, like it just, yes, it was power, but it felt like it was exuding confidence and going the other way and seeing it go out there that way.
On a line.
Love that.
On a line.
Love that. Stay with that. Stay with the line shots. I love that, and I feel like he's playing like he's got the most pride.
It's because he is. I think right after he hit it, as he starts to run, he lets out a little like woo or a little let's go or like fuck yeah, like one of those things. I think you can see that on the replay. And then when it gets out, he gives like a little, fist pump. Like he could be a lot of fun down the stretch, because I do think the pressure's going to be off. Like in our heads, it already is. I think the Yankees are starting to actually realize it. Like it's over. It's over, Hova. And I think Volpe Volpe pressed at a lot of times this year.
Oh, he did.
And I get it, man. Like, actual Yankee fan, playing shortstop for the Yankees, getting slid up the lineup on a tough Yankees team. Like, yes, he was going to be pressing. That, a relaxed, experienced Volpe the rest of the way, it would love to get a couple heaters out of him to get excited for next year. And yeah, man, it's a bummer that this season is tough because, you know, even that kid's got $1 million smile, huh?
He does.
And when he hits a homer and he's botzing around and he's kind of little, so he's bouncing around the dugout kind of like the little brother that just homered, and he's got a big smile and he's telling Garrett he hit a homer and Garrett's like, good job, kid. Shut up. Garrett doesn't do that. I don't know. Like, our hearts were open. Our hearts are still wide open for Volpe. They never got closed. It was just like, okay, you know, the product wasn't great early on, and we wanted to talk about that. Anthony Volpe can and still is going to grab a lot of heartstrings, and I hope, you know, there's a chance he could do that at the end of this season. If he plays with a little, you know, with that fire and he has a couple hot streaks, like, Yankee fans will like let him in our hearts and like close the door. Like, you're on the bus, bud.
Right.
You can be. He has a chance to make this offseason like not a conversation. It isn't anyway, but like we don't even have to deal with annoying people being like, we should move.
Like, it would be pretty sick if the offseason conversation is like, ooh, what do you think Volpe can do next year? You know?
I would love to have that about more kids. I mean, go ahead and bring them up. You know, that would be awesome if you would do that. You know, to share in 2016 at the Yankees soul talk about, oh, well, these kids are energizing.
There's at least 2 that are already on the 40, man.
It excites people when other kids are getting there first.
Right? Like, that can energize the rest of the team.
It would. Down the stretch, the 2016 team that sold was actually kind of fun.
They actually threatened to get
Gary
into the playoff
went
picture
nuts.
final
Like,
week.
Bird was going nuts too, right?
Like Judge had his homer, and people were excited for that. And
Tyler Austin.
yeah,
He's still doing big things.
yeah,
Well, mostly overseas.
yes.
Hey,
Hey.
make a little chatter.
Wish I was. Did you do a You did, Volpe.
Yeah,
we just had that whole conversation.
That's what
That's
this
what-
was.
My pride.
Met someone this weekend who played like summer ball with Volpe. Volpe played up 3 years. They said whole time, yeah, he's been good the whole way. Volpe was playing up. They were all like joking about how much smaller he was, but then they'd also be like, "And you're going to be shortstop for the Yankees," and now it's happening, and that's got to be crazy for him. His whole life, people have been joking about that, and it's happening.
It's real. I played up All-Stars one year. It was like the coolest thing that ever happened to me. It was nasty. Nasty, Joes. You've seen it.
I never have.
Blitzball Battle 1. Yankee.
You Yankee motherfucker.
Yankee MFer. Again, there's options.
There are. Are you going first?
I'm going first. I'm going to do some kind of mean.
That's what the award is.
I'm going to do this because I think it's like full circle on a meme. And if you're one of the kids that still, you know, I don't run as hard on the Twitter/X streets like I used to. Maybe I would be if the Yankees were good. I don't know. The new Yankee meme should be 9th inning, Boston Red Sox, Yankees, Kenley Jansen on the bump, couple ducks on the pond, 2 outs. Ben Rortvedt comes up, and the image on the screen is his stats, and the batting average was sitting at .098.
I see. You know, all right.
He went 0 for 8 this series, so I think it's a little warranted either way. I know he got thrown in as a defensive sub. There's no one else on the bench.
That feels mean.
They double switched. He could have been. He would have had to come up sooner then, but
it's
didn't want Stanton in the outfield. They left Allen in the game.
We want to see kids given opportunities, right? And I'm not saying like the book is closed on Ben Rortvedt. You know, he's supposed to be a defensively stud catcher. We've seen him uncork a couple throws that have been sick. Everyone kind of dreams about a lefty catcher, right? We dream about lefties all the time on this show.
Yeah.
Talking lefties.
It's a different show I do.
To see Ben Rortvedt come up in that spot was tough. I felt bad for him. So that's where I like it's kind of a mean, unfair MFer. But yeah, man, I've heard the word around the office used that his offense has been pedestrian.
Wow.
And that's tough. That's really tough.
Pescatarian.
That's fishy.
That's sad.
So I'm sorry. It's a mean one. But yeah, he
For collectively his MLB stats, he deserves one, just as a cumulative thing.
You're just trying to fill up the column.
Sorry, Ben.
Okay.
Do you have a Yankee MFer?
I do. This also feels kind of like because, you know, he's never felt this kind of season before. I'm going to go Garrett Cole.
Okay.
I don't know what's been going on with you and the Red Sox, pal. I need you to shut them down. Because Devers loves facing you. And the Red Sox are way too comfortable against Garrett Cole. There is no like, oh, they're facing Cole. Like, no, it's not like that. That feeling that we used to have when Chris Sale would come in the building, like that's the feeling that I want for the Red Sox to feel against Cole. And it's not like that, and it's never been like that. They just feel like, hey, we're super comfortable against this guy.
Yeah.
And then, you know, he talked to Sevy, who was a good coach last week, talking to Sevy and doing all that. And then, you know, four innings later, your next start, you know, you're out. That sucked. Especially the night before, the way that they lost, you expect them to be a stopper. But you always feel that these long losing streaks, the reason you have your aces is to prevent these long losing streaks from happening. I guess this is why it has not happened since 95. So I put that on you, Pop. I do. I put that on you. Heaviest is the head that wears the crown.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. We had a couple games on in the lounge today, and they were showing Max Scherzer's stats when he's pitched in games when his team has lost the previous 3 games. And he was like, 23-10 with a 2-some ERA. And it's like, yeah, that game means a little more.
Yeah.
That game means a little more. So,
and going into, I guess, 2 starts ago now, the Miami start, they were showing like Cole had some stopper numbers going in the last 2. He was good in the Miami game, so not full blame, but they do lose that one. And then this start was just probably his worst of the year.
Don't get me wrong, a lot of his stuff is run support related, but I just felt like in this one against the Red Sox, you're back at home, the building's packed. It's not like it's not. Yeah. Like, let's shut it down. And I get it, sometimes you get popped, but
it's a bad game for that line.
Am I too zonked right now? Are you excited if Cole gets a Cy Young? Yeah.
Yeah, I still like personal awards for the team I root for. Why not? I was happy for Judge last year. I would be happy for Cole, but it does feel like if you don't make the playoffs, it has like this feeling of like, okay.
Do you think that's going to be a twist? Like, because I know it's been talked about already a little bit around Yankee fans in the our office and things like that. Like, do you think when we look back, that's going to twist the knife a little more? Like, Garrett Cole got a Cy Young that season. Like,
of course.
Yeah.
The reason why I get so upset and why I'm so passionate about why the Yankees are here in 2023 with what you had in 2017 is because you had all of this money in the world to spend.
Right.
You had all of this optimism and all of that stuff. And for this to be the result 2023, you're wasting the primes of Judge and you're supposed to win in this window. That's why you pay these guys this money.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
Technically, you should have won in the window where Judge wasn't making money yet.
Right.
Things happened. But maybe by now you should have at least made a World Series. Maybe.
I think there's a good argument that the Yankees should have made a World Series in the past 14 years.
At least one?
The standard was kind of the standard.
Yeah.
You were talking about George writing apology letters if they didn't win the World
To
Series.
the fans. Now, the owner doesn't understand why people are mad in June when they were trying to like nip this in the bud early.
Man, is that an all-time?
That's
That's
bad.
an all-time one, man.
That was a bad quote.
to kind of come at the people and have it be the worst it's ever been.
It was bad in the immediacy of that quote, and then it only aged worse.
Because there was a part of me that liked the quote. Because I kind of liked Hal being like, we're the Yankees, bro.
That's what that
I can't.
get
I
this
can't.
right.
I can't wait to tell them when we've won 94 games that
Told you so.
We were good. Oh.
It didn't happen this year because, again, that disrespect of the regular season has been there for years, though.
You know what? Rich, powerful people don't like
To be told.
being told they're wrong or getting embarrassed. And that quote, like people are gonna like yell that at Hal. Interesting.
Yeah.
Do you think Boone's gonna get fired?
That's kind of nice.
They're gonna fucking blame somebody. They finished below 500, which they're currently 4 under.
I'm going to be honest. The rebuilding of and this doesn't have to do only with the manager or whatever. I think the GM on down, changes have to happen. All the way through the minor leagues and the teachings and everything like
If you had to,
You know what's fucked up?
okay,
Read an article about the Yankees and their deadline and stuff. Allegedly, Cashman was begging to sell, which we know he's done before, and he's only been cleared to do once before. Like, not that he's in the best standing. Not trying to defend what he did do, because then he didn't buy either. But like,
And I think that's why Hal can't say anything to him like that because he was telling him if that's
he
true.
said he's safe.
if
But
you
there's a side of it for Hal's side. It's like nah, make it work. I gave you how many years I got to give you
Right.
$280 million, Pop? Like make it work. This year you're gonna live in it. Figure it out.
if you had to place a,
Do something.
this is financial. If you had to place a DraftKings bet, Aaron Boone to be fired by the Yankees, would you bet yes or no?
I'd bet yes because you can't do nothing again. Doing nothing is crazy,
Nothing is crazy.
and doing nothing in the off season would be insane.
They
I was listening
already
to Jimmy, and when Jimmy said, I was looking at next year in the free agency, and I was like, I don't know what changes.
there's not like a dream 2 moves to be made, and feels like we're fixed. The Yankees finished below 500, finishing last, which feels like we're heading towards. They're gonna blame
Some's
somebody,
gotta-
and they already did the hitting coach.
Something's got to change, and they did that. What was that weird meeting? They said
Yeah.
Boone, Hal, and Cash had a meeting, and they said they were sad. What was the actual quotes? Aaron Boone said he met with Hal and Brian Cashman a couple days ago. He said they discussed the direction of the organization. He admitted they're all frustrated by the Yankees' performance. You are the Yankees.
What are they talking about? I'm just wondering, like, when they say,
What did they talk? We need to ask Boone. What did you guys talk about? Like, I want, how long were we in there? Were there topics? Was there a presentation?
how did the meeting start? What'd you think?
Who kicked it off?
Do you think it was like a
What,
whole,
what
like,
topics got covered in that direction of the,
Oh,
of
write
the
that
team?
down.
the meeting wasn't scheduled. It was like an impromptu, like Boone walked into the office and he was talking, and Cashman was talking to Hal, and they just closed the door, and he just looked at it. He's like, what went wrong here, guys? Like,
You think it was like just a water cooler thing? Like it just happened? They were like,
in,
huh,
in his office, it
we
became
are
a
tough,
meeting.
huh? Oh, okay. So it became pretty official.
It became a meeting.
Like, let's sit down and talk about it.
I think that they were talking, and he walked in, and he had a meeting maybe with Boone to talk about maybe bringing up somebody, maybe, and he just walked in and he was talking to Hal, and he's like, yeah, turn me around real quick. And like, you know, they're talking on FaceTime really close, like how they like to do sometimes, so you can only see like only the top part of their face. But then he probably said, hey, what went wrong? This is bad. Tough years today, huh? Tough year this year.
Regular old awards.
Regular old awards.
Regular old awards. Still, they're brought to you by our merch store. I mentioned Joe's shirt already. Go get yourself one. My first award. My first kiss went a little like this. You know that song?
Mm-hmm.
My first award is the right out of the oven award.
Right out of the oven?
Right out of the oven.
Oh, he's hot.
Right out of that oven.
He's hot. Or he's baked.
Huh.
Could be one.
In there.
I don't know if this is a good award or a bad one.
I think you can get this one.
Baked? That's not the award.
It's not the award. Straight.
Who's right out of the oven?
Right out of the oven, Joe's.
Okay.
Jimmy is screaming the answer at home.
You think so?
Yes.
Yeah. Knowing this affects his record.
This affects his record?
Yeah.
I kind of want to get it wrong.
Joe's. It's not the game.
Okay. All right. Right out of the oven. I'm going to go with, how many guesses do I get? One. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to guess.
Yeah. Okay.
Judge.
Just name the big fella.
Yeah. He's out of the oven.
Joe's. Fresh out of the oven. Hot. Maybe they just came back to the team from the IL, and they were perfect for 5.1 innings. And their nickname's Lasagna. Johnny Laza.
Lasagna.
Yeah, I mean, we still have to talk about one big thing. But man, Johnny Laza, I don't know, man. Johnny's fun when he's right.
Uh-huh.
He's looked pretty good.
He's done nothing wrong.
We had that original Boone quote. Remember when him and Judge were getting loose together, and Boone was all excited because he's like, "That might be the toughest pitcher Judge is gonna face." Like Johnny looks. I think he had a weird Yankee quote where he's like, he looks playoff ready, which means they just have different standards for playoffs and regular season, which is part of the problem that we've tried to talk about.
Playoff ready could be like literally no at-bats right off of the IL, like just getting in. That's also playoff ready.
So he gives up his first hit, and it was one of those baseball will always be baseball. I think Trevor Story was in like an 0 for 20, and Johnny Laza had a 5.1 perfect game going, and Trevor Story gets the hit. But yeah, I don't know. I wanted to give out something half happy, and Johnny's got that.
I'm happy for him.
He's back next year.
Okay.
Do you have an award?
I do.
Looks good.
I have a that's none of my business award.
That's none of my business award. This is a good Joe's McFly themed award.
It is.
It's one of your favorite phrases.
It is.
I've stolen that phrase from you.
It's okay.
Because when you use it right, it's pretty impactful.
Pretty impactful.
I will go with Isaiah Kiner-Falefa.
No.
Okay.
Keem Middleton. Why am I giving that award, you're thinking? Everybody's saying, oh, doing nothing's crazy. You guys did nothing at the deadline. He's been kind of solid.
Yes.
And he's like, listen, I was dealing with stuff with the White Sox already. This energy right now is none of my business. I'm trying to put my ducks on a row. I'm a free agent, and I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to pitch the best that I can in the opportunities that I have. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give him an award because I feel like it would be kind of tough if you come to a deadline, you come over to a new team, and everybody's like, you ain't do shit. and he's the one that they got. And now he's like, it's none of my business. I'm just trying to do my job.
Now he's 8.2 innings, 10 Ks. He's only given up 1 earned run. Yeah, I talked about him a little last episode. I was like, get those numbers up, kid. Like, you're going to be pitching in games that, the pressure will be off.
Yes.
Come into some good lanes, mow some people down, hit free agency at the right time. Everyone should root for that for players.
Got a pretty drippy Savant. Get some good numbers in. Get yourself an extra, $2 million.
Sure.
That's your rate.
Oh, yeah. How much did he talk about possible IKF contract?
Somebody's going to pay him something stupid.
No.
Let's save that
it for
the
November.
offseason. Let's save that for the offseason. Let's save that.
He's extending him?
Remember the original DJ LeMahieu contract? Make that look like a fucking joke.
Let's save that for the offseason.
Okay.
OPS is in the sixes.
I agree.
My last and final award.
Okay.
One of the most prestigious awards you can give out.
And Joe's, you should get this, by the way.
You should get this.
Avrex.
So many hints.
You should get this.
Okay.
I am going to give out A Man, a Plan, Panama Canal.
A man, a plan.
Is
Panama
that the
Canal?
phrase? A man, a plan, a canal, Panama. It's the same thing forwards as backwards. It's one of those funny word things, yeah.
A man.
Palindrome.
Okay. Panama Canal, which means it allows for easier passage.
I would say the emphasis is on plan, and like BBD has alluded to, there's been some hints.
Multiple big hints.
Wow, he really stared at me like that. He looked through my soul.
What do you think that was?
I don't know. I think he would be upset if I didn't get it. Panama Canal? Panama. Have you given this award before?
I don't think so. We've talked palindromes before.
I have to assume palindromes have come up.
Have you only given this person awards for palindromes?
No.
So this is a new person. Okay. All right. Okay. I got to guess.
Shot clock.
I'm going to go with
5,
a pitcher.
4.
My king.
BBD, who's the award going to?
IKF.
How does he know?
It's going to IKF. So a couple of the hints you missed is I've constantly said we need to talk about him. B, whenever I normally
You
guess
did
a
say
guy, that means they're on my mind.
He did say that. I wore the shirt too.
And that's why BBD was staring through you, because you're wearing an IKF shirt. So
Is that why you also guessed IKF for my thing?
Yes.
Were you going to change it again? No more questions.
So in game 2, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, who I hope he gets a big contract this free agency. He was our 5th hitter. Sure. He had a nice little hot stretch. One of the Yankees that has had a nice stretch of baseball. A month and a half, 2 months. IKF played some good ball. He comes up as our 5th hitter with Giancarlo Stanton on first. Excuse me. Why'd you laugh, BBD? Why'd you laugh?
It's 5th hitter. Plans.
Giancarlo Stanton walks. The Yankees are down 4 runs, by the way. Giancarlo Stanton is one of the slowest position players in baseball these days. IKF first pitch after a 7-pitch walk to Stanton. Squares to bunt. He pops it up. Stanton gets his, the ship starts moving one direction. The ship's moving one direction. Pops it up. Caught. Double play out. That's when things get interesting. Because, we do this, and then we play a fun game, right? It's normally did that come from the dugout?
You're down 4.
Did IKF, did he see something in the defense, so he was trying to get a good bunt down? And then, if he does, we'd be singing his praises, right? Like, ooh, IKF snuck that bunt in against them. It started the Yankees rally. You know, a bunt done right can get you hyped. A bunt done wrong. And then we get the quotes after the game that the Yankees, you know, they liked the opportunity to bunt there, which is confusing because, like you said, they're down 4, and the Yankees traditionally don't like to bunt, and you know it's been proven that it doesn't help rallies, and there's still
very few situations where the sack is the play.
This is opinion based. I still think there's a time and a place for bunting in baseball. I think it's a lot less than what it used to be. I don't think it was this situation. And then they said that one of the reasons the bunt was more in play was that the pitcher, Cutter Crawford, struggles fielding bunts. So they said they were essentially playing for the error a little bit, which I don't think I've ever heard that. I know, you know, when CeCe started getting older and he was his knee was banged up, teams would test him because they were like, hey, if you're going to be out there, you know, we kind of need to see you do it. And we saw CeCe get frustrated a couple times.
Yankees didn't bunt on Kirk Schilling, who had one leg.
That got brought up this weekend. I don't know, man. I think we have another thing I'm excited for the next month and a half or so. I think stories are going to come out, Joes. You mentioned Ben Ruda.
Yeah.
Talking about the minor leagues. We saw Judge's hitting coach, Teacher Man, come out this weekend and give his thoughts on why the Yankees' approach is poor, for lack of a better term. And then we hear that we've got a bunt strategy that brings in pitchers' errors percent chances.
I
don't know, man.
I didn't like the explanation. Number one. Okay. That's number one. I didn't like that. Number two. Okay. Another thing that I did not like was the actual bunt attempt on the first pitch after he just walked somebody. It's just, I'll be honest, I could talk to We Got Ice, and they've been at, you know, the Little League World Series the entire weekend. And I tell you what, I bet you they haven't seen that not once. And it kind of sucks that that's what the Yankees are doing. I've never heard, I mean, it's not hits. You're playing for errors.
Playing for the error in big league baseball?
And I think
they are going for the hit, and their thought was worst case, he's fairly likely to throw it away.
And I think he's only done that twice.
And they forgot that, like, oh, they don't have their guys practice bunting. So
I don't know, man.
And they asked IKF about it, and his answer is, well, you guys saw Volpe also go for a bunt later that we didn't get down. Well, two wrongs don't make a right, man.
I don't know.
Came from the team.
I don't know.
If the team actually...
I'm viewing it in almost an optimistic way where I'm excited to see the worse it gets, the more stories are going to come out. And I kind of want the stories at this point.
I like stories.
Because Teacher Man's tweet was interesting, right? Like, I don't know everything about it, but it's kind of around a lot of the concepts we've been saying this year that the Yankees, they don't believe in the actual result. Like, they don't, you know, they just want the highest exit velo possible. That will lead to the most results because there's a correlation between high velo and hits, but they're taking out the part of baseball of trying to barrel it and hit it on a line that also leads to singles and doubles in the gap and things like that. You know, the traditional, if you've watched baseball, you've seen these. You know, someone gets beat on a fastball away, but if they're a good hitter, they throw the bat at it. Like, the Yankees don't believe in that.
They've eliminated the part where baseball happens.
Like,
they don't believe in baseball.
Literally, the guy behind you.
Derek Sanderson
Jeter.
He's not in the room. It's a poster, people.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we would let him talk once at least.
At least once.
Yeah.
The
open invite.
You retired his number because of his approach. He did not lead the organization in hits or get to 3,000 hits by just only thinking, let me hit the ball hard every single time. I'm sure he wanted to hit the ball hard.
He
every
generally
single
hit the
time,
ball hard, yeah.
but he had an approach of hitting it the other way. I don't understand what's so bad with that when so many of your Hall of Famers have it. It would be different if these people that built this team and this approach were not here that built those championship teams. But most of them were.
Right.
And that's the weird part. Like, you know what works.
That's where it starts to get really weird.
But you want to reinvent the wheel more because you want to get more praise from reinventing the wheel because everybody praises the Rays because they are able to do a lot with the little. But you want that praise more than you just knowing what works.
I like doing a lot with a lot.
I like doing a lot. You should be doing a lot with a lot.
Instead, they're doing
A little
a little
with a lot.
with a
They,
lot.
they don't believe in your lottery tickets at all.
That's crazy. So yeah, I guess IKF, you technically get the award. You kind of shouldn't.
Yeah.
Man, that's
And then the replay today with IKF. I don't know if it was.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, that was a big part of the game, and, like, I think we all landed on the same thing. Like, if we were still vested in the Yankees winning this season, I mean, we would, you'd be screaming, you got to be horse shitting me.
That's exactly what I would say.
But, yeah, baseball in general, I have no idea the blocking the plate rule. I have no idea. If you gave me 10 blocking the plate rulings and I had to guess.
That might be a game. It might be a new video.
We might. That could be a JM video this week. Write that one down, Beebs. Kind of like it. That's actually a Jack Doyle specialty.
Be down for that.
It obviously sucks and could have been a totally different episode. Maybe. No, it wouldn't have been a totally different episode. It'd say different things about the game, but the episode would have been the same. And that's why.
Yeah.
And that's why.
That's why.
Joes, you have the honor.
I do.
The most final and prestigious award of the episode.
Yes.
The last award.
I'm just gonna say milk carton. The milk carton award.
Milk Carton Award. Why do you want to talk about Gleyber Torres?
It's not Gleyber Torres. That's a great guess, though. It's not Gleyber Torres.
It's Gleyber Torres.
It's not.
You just changed it.
No, I did not. I did not.
You're mad how easily I got it.
That's not it.
No, that's not it.
When you're on the milk carton, you're missing.
Oof.
It's been a long time since you've seen people on milk cartons, but I think they might bring it back for this person.
Still do that?
I don't think so.
I feel like there's way quicker ways to get the message out.
Yeah, like Amber Alerts.
if you're
Those are the Amber Alerts back then.
If you end up on the milk carton, it's too late.
It's way too late. The milk
It
still,
must have been a fairly quick process, like to get a person onto the milk carton.
Why did Big Milk sign up for that?
Yeah, why'd they take that
I don't think
task?
that they had another way for Amber Alert. There was no cell phone. Really.
Like, did the government get involved? Like, people buy milk, so let's put it on milk. if
Everyone
someone gets
needed milk.
stolen?
As
What is that?
milk would get delivered to you.
Who's missing?
Giancarlo Stanton's been missing.
Yeah,
I just don't
should've
know.
got that.
I was watching you watch, the replay because sometimes you like to watch a condensed game.
Yeah.
I seen a swing from Giancarlo that I'm like, why did that happen? It just doesn't feel like the guy that a guy that won an MVP. John Sterling looked at it like he's like, man, Giancarlo's bad.
Oh, no.
I'm sorry. He came in to pinch hit, and he says, he's like, wow, I mean, he's batting like 200.
Historically awful
He said
pinch
he's
hitter
been
as well.
kind of bad.
I'll be straight up. I would, if I saw Giancarlo Stanton today, I'd be like, dude, you're awesome. You're one of the coolest people I think I've ever come across. Like, you're the man, but like, you're not good at pinch hitting.
Yeah.
And I
Like
think
one
he'd
of the
say that,
first
too.
questions we'd ask him if we were doing like an interview with him
Be like, do you hate it?
after the icebreaker
Of running.
would be like, you hate pinch hitting, right?
Which one do you hate more? Pinch hitting or running? Right now. Pick one.
Man,
I don't think he hates running.
I
He's
feel
just
like he
scared of it.
misses.
Either that or he's not allowed.
I don't know,
Scared.
dude. Like on the drive up today, when we did a thing with the Savannah Bananas, one of the guys that was there, Flash the Kid, he said he runs a 4.25 40. I'd like to see it, but you know, I used to be quick. Like I was amongst my group of friends. Like I, you know, had pretty good speed. I was never like fast, like you know, that kind of fast. But there was a time in my life when I was
Solidly
a
above
young,
average.
quick guy, and that's fading away. You get older, and I was thinking about the old men that talk about, you know, how fast they used to be, and I used to fly, man, and Giancarlo Stanton's got to be like what? Like he used to be like a star football. Didn't he play safety in football? Mm-hmm. Like when he was with the Marlins, he was athletic. He's got to be going through some stuff right now, man. And his last 9 injuries are all lower body.
Yeah.
That's where I'm scared, man.
I miss him. I do miss him. I miss him a lot. I feel like he was like such an imposing figure. And I hated, first of all, media right now is trolling the Yankees any which way that they can. There's that one graphic of Julio Rodriguez out hitting the Yankees in 4 games. I hated that.
I think Yanks passed him today. So
Oh, that's good for him.
One player.
And then there's the graphic of the comparison that they put up for Machado since 2019, Machado, Harper, and Giancarlo, and these numbers are like, I'm like, man, the media's like really rubbing it in on the Yankees right now, man. Like, Machado has a 19 WAR, Harper has a 16 WAR, Giancarlo has a 4.7 since 2019. I don't know, OPS plus 123. I miss him, Pop. Like he's an imposing figure when he's going, and I get it. Sometimes he goes through like these long lulls, but he gets really hot, and I haven't seen it this year at all.
Since the first injury last year, he hasn't gotten hot.
I sincerely
know
miss
part
him.
of the frustration is when he's cold, it looks like he doesn't know what he's doing, and that's always been part of it. But
His last, I bet there's a way to do it. His last 120 games have to be rough because he came back after the All-Star break. He wasn't the same cat. Yeah, and it sucks. And you're right, Joe's, because Stanton, when he's right, he's kind of like one of the coolest features of the Yankees. It's like,
Carlo hits a bomb.
yeah, like, hey, you make the wrong pitch to this dude, and you're going to be thinking about it for a while.
Yeah.
It could be a historic home run.
He hits it hard.
I think I am overstepping my boundaries, and maybe this is way too much fan stuff. I think he's got to change up his stance. I think his body's
done it
different.
before.
He's done it before. We've seen the Marlins. He started out open. He got medium. He got closed. I think we got to go to the drawing board because I think his body has changed. You could see that I think his approach might have to change. And I don't know. That could absolutely be fan lip service. I could be totally wrong. I'm not a hitting expert, but like,
Does he still have that notebook? You remember when he first came over? He had that notebook that he would always write in his app. Does he still
he
have
lost
it?
the notebook.
Does he still have it?
I don't know. We can ask him.
I have 143 games. So this is since coming back from the first time on the IL last year.
You know, a full season.
Which is essentially a full season.
143.
582 plate appearances. Doesn't include his 0 for 1 today.
Okay.
I took that out. It's a pinch hit one anyway. Who cares?
I'm glad you did.
183 average, 277 on base, 431 slug, which, I mean, that is a little low for him. 38 homers in that time. That number's okay, but only 13 doubles. That's not Giancarlo Stanton. 88 ribbies in that time. That's not Giancarlo Stanton. Striking out just a hair under 29% of the time. It's not Giancarlo Stanton.
That's
183?
Gallo was traded off the team for that.
It does. I think it does clear the Joey Gallo mark.
They
but,
got rid of the shift.
like one of our favorite things about Stanton was that he sneaky does hit for decent average.
He's
Better than he gets credit for.
In 2021, he had a 273 batting average. In 2019, 288, small sample, excuse me. He's a career 261 batting average hitter.
You think he's playing hurt? They have to
That's
do
a loaded
agility stuff.
question, bro.
At the time he went on the IL,
He might just be this.
He can't be
the
that.
injuries could have caught up to
He
him.
can't be running like this. I think if you think about not getting hurt,
If the question is he hurt? Yes, in some way. But I don't know if it's a perma hurt.
a perma hurt? Did you just call it?
Before he went on the IL, it's much smaller sample size, the previous year, but his first 40 games of the 2022 season, it was 285 with a 523 slug. Like, he was really good.
I don't know.
That was what Giancarlo Stanton's always been.
I don't know.
Honestly, we were saying the power numbers maybe a little down, but there's only an 862 OPS.
Currently his
Made the All-Star team based on those 40 games.
Currently his only career year with an OPS plus that's not above 100. Scary, man.
I miss him.
He's 33 now. He turns 34 in November. Couple years left on the deal. It's going to be interesting. I think we're going to talk about him a lot this offseason.
Fortunately, DJ is having a good second half, and that's generally continued. So hopefully he's not part
Good
of the
job, DJ.
conversation. But
Good
in
job.
general, this year he and Stanton both at the same year. We thought the ends of their contracts might not age the best. Them potentially being in a bad way, exact same time.
Yeah,
Halfway through last year.
I think the other thing
DJ, he's helping himself.
I think the other thing that was alarming today was Volpe and Gleyber both tied for the team's RBI lead today with 50. BBD asked, because he's popular on Talking Baseball, Adolis Garcia, really good player for the Texas Rangers. Gets a lot of runners on in front of him because they're some of the best players in baseball. Seager, Simeon.
He's batting in a prime RBI
He's
spot.
good at driving in runs. That's, what he gets paid for. He had 49 RBI runs batted in May 19th.
I remember a time that
It's August 20th.
Gary had 20 homers and like 60 RBI or something like that.
What was that? Was that like the end of 2016 when he got called up?
How about we call some kids up? We might see something. Post deadline, the kids should have been called up immediately.
You needed to change the recipe. Even if they started off small.
I don't like the cake.
Even if it
One
was
guy.
small, you change one thing in the recipe, maybe that affects something else in the recipe. And then if that doesn't work, then you add something else. It's still the same thing. It's still the same exact thing. Rodon Severino Cole, Nationals, at home. Time to get hot.
Josiah Gray coming into the office. I need my rematch.
Oh, shit. He's pitching,
He's pitching
the first
game one.
and he's good.
I know.
Mackenzie Gore, game 2. Yanks hit lefties, though. Gore and Corbin.
Those guys took 2 out of 3
Last
from the
two.
Red Sox.
Josiah Gray, Mackenzie Gore, 2 really good young pitchers. Yankees known kryptonite. Hey, there's a chance Patrick Corbin, former Yankee, could really drive another stake through their chest.
Yanks hit lefties because they don't have it.
Joe's McFly, thank you. Is there anything else you need to get off your chest?
No, I've gotten everything off of my chest. I would
good.
like the Yanks to really bring up the kids, and I want Hal to be the owner.
Draw the line, right? Like,
Be that guy.
Draw the line. Everybody should be looking to answer to you. It's not like you're looking for answers. People should be having to come to you to, on eggshells.
let's just get away from it. Hey, thanks to Joe's McFly. Follow Joe's on everything. If you like content, not many people post more content than you.
I would like to post more.
I know. Unfortunately, it's not a ton of Yankee stuff recently. Thank you, Joe's. Me and Jimmer and Booney will be back.
In the office.
We think.
I was looking forward to it.
It went from a yes to a maybe. Either way, Well, and I can't wait to hear about the meeting.
Tuesday or Wednesday.
Because I could ask questions for 25 minutes about the meeting. Were there drinks? Were there snacks? Who started?
What was he wearing?
What time of
Did
day
people
was
get
this?
dressed up? What time of day was it?
Was this a morning meeting?
Were there slides?
This post game?
Was the camera too close on Zoom?
Did everyone get a chance to talk?
Who was in there besides you three?
Couches? Were they at a table?
In Boone's office? At Brian's office?
We'll find all that out soon. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Like and subscribe, please.
Subscribe. It helps.
Let's go, Yanks. Tell them grandma.
Go Yankees.